at, what the heck was the name of that?
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun, that's right. You know, didn't make it because it's in a bad location. And so our crossroads up here, if we do this right, may make a difference. So I'm not sure how good the sound is on this, but I'd like to play this because this recaps it faster than what I can do. It's about 3 minutes.
Imagine a true destination included, stunning, and strategically located crossroads. Because the lakes can see.
All right, so we're going to have a little problem with this.
We are at a crossroads, and control of the decision.
That is the property right there, by the way.
The decision is
Part of
and
it.
it should not be the Beltway policy. It should be student county that decides where. We and the state don't need.
Maybe I better just narrate the thing, huh? Okay. So basically is that we don't want some kind of thing that's just a force down our throat here by the state legislature. We want to maintain some control on it. Ergo, why we're here. We don't want some roadside casino like Firekeepers up there, you know, that is 80 acres all parking lot. We want to try and protect our lakes, you know, and our towns, you know, to make sure that the traffic and stuff doesn't flow in here and drive us all freaking nuts. So it is put it in the right spot. And that is not some high rise, but some kind of low profile, something that is appropriate for our lakes area. That's got entertainment, that's got a convention center, that's got indoor atrium, pool, you know, things that'll get people to stay here. This property is located just 2 miles off of the I-69 and Toll Road interchange, or come on, go to the next one here. Now it's slowing. There it goes. This has got 40,000 travelers per day right there at that interchange. That makes our location worthwhile for this. So here's the property. It's a bunch of farm fields and stuff there. Here's the lake property on it. It's got 3,400 feet of lakefront shoreline. It's got woods, it's got pastures, it's got fields, it's got nature areas. It's got 1,500 feet of waterfront that's kind of visual there. Here's the overview of the property, and the access comes in off of Van Gilder Road, which is a total of 1/2 mile off of that Lake George Jamestown exit. It's literally a right-hand turn and another right-hand turn, and you're there. And as I fly over the county and look at all these properties, I said, you know, we can't get much better than that, no matter where you put it. I looked out there at the fun spot, and I said, oh yeah, all those people in Crooked Lake would absolutely throw a fit over that location there. And there's not enough ground. You can put some kind of high-rise casino or something there, but that won't win against Firekeepers. That won't win against that over there. We need a destination kind of place like this that shows up on there that people are going to drive from 300 miles away to stay for an extended period of time. There's the layout of the ground from the aerial, and you can see here, there's the FedEx facility right there. There's a truck stop, what I call the 76 truck stop. There's a Lake George exit. Literally just get off, go over here, and then and boom, you're in. Of course, all of this would probably be, by necessity, green area, because the lakefront out here is the prime property, where you'd have a casino, you know, the resort, the hotels, the cabins, all of that kind of thing. And so what we're trying to do is get something prospectively ready. Next. Here's someplace. Sorry about this. Yeah, try and protect our towns, keep the thing as far away as possible from everything that would cause damage. Yes, a golf course out there. Now, it'd probably be a smaller executive kind of style golf course, by the way. And I'm not a casino operator. I got no idea other than, after all of this research, what's going to win the day for here. And that's kind of where we're looking. Yeah, it's a transformational kind of thing. When you're talking about doing $500 million as a minimum on that, and I talked to the Economic Development Commission on it as well. Yes, I got the property listed for sale, there it is. There's the Rising Sun for casino. And I talked to them, I sent them an invitation in regards to this property, because they thought, geez, they could have one south and have one north, you know, that would make some sense, because that was not making enough money, that's what prompted the whole thing, and get something up here. So I'll close with that if I can get out of this thing. That's the big version. How do I get out of here? Escape? No, hold on, X out, there it is. Okay, and so this timeline is a thing that's really causing us the problem on. Now there's a way for the Plan Commission to kind of address that, and that is, well, you could do the zoning, but then you're locked in with the zoning on the property, and it may not come to pass. You know, and so I said, well, that's no good. Now you're locked into a zoning for a gaming thing or a casino, and then it doesn't happen because the referendum didn't pass or whatever. And it said, now we screwed David out there and he can't do anything but sell to some casino, which will never happen.
No, if nothing ever happens within a year, it will revert.
That's
So it
right.
doesn't make any difference.
Well, that would be good. Okay.
That's the way zoning works.
Okay. Well, I don't know how Fremont is because they didn't read through the whole thing.
That's how all zoning works.
Okay.
Those are state laws.
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, but it's going to take some time, and time is not on our side. So an overlay district or a permitted use kind of thing, you know, would help expedite things to get all of this timeline kind of accomplished. It's not approval here because if it doesn't go through the referendum, it doesn't go anyplace. Dead meat, right on the table.
No, it's still in your zoning though.
Well,
If you write it in your zoning, it's always in your zoning.
well, but then we're stuck with it, and do we sell it, can we sell it to somebody else?
Doesn't make any difference. If you write that into your zoning laws, it's always in your zoning laws. So
Well-
what you're asking us to do in essence is to, like we allow a church to be in a residential district with basically not asking permission.
No,
Yes,
no,
yes.
because, well, here's the overlay apparatus. If I can find it right there quick, for this overlay district, and I think I gave y'all a copy of that. And that would be that it would expire within a time frame, just like what you talked about. So that it's not.
The only way that it will expire out of zoning, something like what you're asking for, the only way that will expire out of zoning is if you amend your ordinance. That is the only way that it will expire.
Yeah, and I
There is no sunset date on things like that.
is that something that you would like to do, I guess?
What's that?
Amend the zoning ordinance.
Well, I just have a lot of questions about the project to start
Okay.
with. So if this is voted down in November,
Mhm.
nothing happens?
That's right.
Okay. If it is voted, then what happens, do you have the sellers on the lake?
We have the sellers on the lake.
Yeah, do you have people who are selling their lakefront property?
There are,
There's numerous people I know who have property on Walters Lake.
well, there are, I think, if I remember right, let me count them in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think there's 7 or maybe 8 parcels, separate parcels, besides David's, okay? And so I talked to some of the people there. I haven't talked to everybody, okay? But I talked to just about half, okay? And the distance between this property and the lake where they live is about 3,000 feet. So it's a fair distance away. Plus,
I've heard that many of them don't want to sell that property.
that could be true. That could be true. You know, so I don't know where to go with it, except that this is a property that seems to make the most sense out of all the ones in the county for that. You know, whether it passes or not, I just didn't know where to go with it. You know, I said, all right, do they want a casino or not? There's so much work to be done to try and put it even together from an operator standpoint, whether it's this one or Moeller's property or wherever. But the thing that makes it unique would be that lakefront right there. that would win the day over all the other casinos in the area. Honestly, on that, from a realtor standpoint, if that went there, with the woods, with the buffers, with the nature walks and the rest of that there, nature center, most probably, because that's what the property lends itself for, it would probably increase the value of Richard Herman's place, both of those properties. And he's opposed to it, he's my best friend out there. I get it, you know, except that, you know, somebody from that would probably buy his place to have it and to be there.
And I could just see
Yeah.
this destroying the downtown area here.
Well, I thought that also, until I dug into some research on the thing. And that's in my Q&A on this, actually, is because, you know, it's kind of like our Valley Outlet Mall, as I remember it, it's now called whatever it is out there, you know, is pretty much dying kind of on the vine, you know? And with something that draws in this kind of longer stay people, that would undoubtedly revitalize that out there.
But what about Fremont?
Well, Fremont was, do you want the traffic? Because I looked at 1,000 Acre Campground out here also. And I said, okay, do we want the traffic coming through on their, what the heck was it, the total acreage was like 480 acres or something? You know, and I thought, well, they got lakefront and stuff out there too, but do we really want all that traffic coming in on 120, coming through town? Probably not. And the state probably wouldn't approve that either, you know, because it's too far away. Now, an operation that has all of those kind of mixed uses, like the Lakefront Adventure Park, and I was just going through with what all would attract and set this apart as a destination compared to all the other casinos in the world. You know, and it takes something like the Four Seasons clear story kind of atrium, like down at Gaylord, down in Tennessee, I think it is. You know, a water park, the zip line, the spas, which almost all of them have spas now. You know, but some golf, a family arcade. I mean, one thing that Las Vegas learned out there was that you don't win the day with just a casino anymore. You got to have something that attracts the family to stay. You know, and that's the thing that makes it more special for this area.
But they're only staying at the casino.
Well, that's where they would reside, but I don't know how long you stay there or whether you come into town or not. I would say you'd probably get tired of staying at that place all the time, and that's where we got more people in the area that don't come into town except that they have a purpose to come here. You know, like me going to play at the corner pocket here tonight, shoot pool, you know? I mean, there's other things that happen.
They won't have pool tables there?
Probably
They won't have
not.
restaurants there?
Well, they have restaurants,
Yeah.
for sure, but the restaurants aren't gonna be the price of the bullpen.
No, but the
Okay.
restaurants are our best pull right now.
Yeah, and that's probably still gonna stay the same.
Other people can pipe it in, just say.
Mhm.
And then what evidence or non-evidence is there about increased crime? DUIs,
Yeah,
stealing.
yeah, I understand. I went through that also, and all of the people who would be out there, they have to have their own security or vetted people, because, I mean, face it, they're handling a bunch of chips and things now, it's not cash anymore. You go and you pay this stuff with your credit card and your debit card, so there's not like they're stealing from, you know, what was the movie out there, you know, where they, you know, boatloads of cash and stuff, or gold. You know, that's not there anymore in the quote modern casinos. So they've got their own on-staff security personnel to maintain it. And frankly, that's the whole point of the overlay district, is to require that kind of thing.
Do they check them before they get in their cars to see if they blow alcohol?
Wouldn't you think? You know, so.
I don't think they do.
Well, then there'd be some liability to come back on that too. Same thing as like a corner pocket, I suppose, you know, or any bar. So, and they can't afford to have some bad reputation out there on that. So, yeah, I would bet. Again, I'm not a casino operator. You know, I don't have anybody on the line. I'm looking at what's going to be the best thing for this area. If it's not going to go, it's not going to go. You know, and that's fine, I guess. But I just,
You mentioned that this falls some of the zoning in Steuben County's district, some in ours.
yeah.
what's the feedback you're getting from the county on this?
They invited me back also. I sent them the same letter as what I sent to you guys, you know, to do a more in-depth, I showed them the video on that in a preliminary hearing to see whether they want to hear any more or not or what. And they said, yeah, we'll come back. So, but I haven't been there yet. You guys responded first. So this is my first time even talking about this. So,
What happens if we don't approve this?
well, I don't expect it to be approved.
Well, we're not gonna approve it.
No.
I just mean, what would happen if you didn't do it and then they vote that it should be happening? What happens
I
then?
don't know.
You go back to square one.
Yeah.
Those timeline, that timeline isn't gonna work.
I know, that's it, that's
Yeah.
the thing, it's just so, it was trying to get ahead of the game so that we have some control over where the thing could possibly be, like, for example, there's a casino that's on 13 acres. The one over in Toledo's on 44 acres, and said, you know, you just can't fit the stuff on there. You know, it's not gonna work, it's not competitive.
Because I feel like to approve things takes away our control.
No, because it would be, this is the criteria that you have to have in order to meet an overlay district. That's why I did the outline. I didn't begin to try and do your job on this. I just went down and did kind of an outline of the points that would need to be addressed. You know, I got started on.
I think, so you have 3 places where you could potentially put a casino. In a business district, in industrial, and I think the other, I can't remember what the other one was. No, you can't put it in ag, you can't do that unless you rezone. In existing zoning, you could put it in business or industrial, I guess, or commercial.
And none of those fit. That's where it would take us.
You know, I don't know how,
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to do that without going through the zoning process.
Mhm. Okay.
To get a special zoning
Mhm.
for a gaming or whatever.
Yeah,
So, I don't know how you're gonna do that.
I don't know either. That's why I'm here,
Because-
trying to figure
because-
that out.
I don't think, number one, I don't think that the law will allow it.
Mhm.
I mean, I know a lot about this type of
Okay.
law,
Mhm.
and I don't think that the law is going to allow you to put in an overlay district, much like what I talked about. You can
Mhm.
build a church in a residential district, basically without asking permission. No special exception, no nothing.
Yeah,
And that's what you have when you do an overlay district.
okay.
There's no requirement for hearings or anything. You can just do it. Whereas if you rezone a piece of property, you have to have hearings in order to rezone that.
Okay. I don't know how to.
And what you're talking about is the one where you can put a church in a residential district, or a school in a residential district.
Okay,
That's the way that law works.
okay.
Now, maybe
So
you
what
could
would-
write it so you couldn't, so it wouldn't, but I don't know.
Okay, so what would be your suggestion then on that?
I would suggest that it needs to be rezoned
Mm-hmm.
to some type of a special use rezoning.
Okay,
I mean,
Alright.
That can be rescinded if it doesn't.
well,
Yeah.
all zoning rescinds after a year. So if I rezone a piece of property that's agricultural, and somebody comes in here and says, I want to put a business on there, and we rezone it so they can put a business on there, and they don't do anything for a year, then it reverts back to what it was.
well, that's interesting, because we own 16 acres across from what used to be the Holiday Inn Valley lot out there, and we have been through 4 different zonings on that thing, where it was general business and ag, it was ag, then general business, then it went to accommodation business, and now we're back to ag.
Mhm.
And it was all a zoning change, it was because it's in the jurisdictional area of the city of Angola now, where it was in the county before, and we had no say-so on it, and we're stuck with it there now.
But there
So-
are caveats to that.
Yeah.
If someone comes to ask to have a parcel rezoned,
Mhm.
and we rezone it, that if we rezone it from agriculture, let's say to business, okay, then it will revert back after a year. But if the town or the city rezones a parcel of property, it stays that zoning.
Okay, so it needs to be a rezone through the plan
Through
commission?
the municipality or through the plan commission, you gotta go through the BZA and then through the plan commission.
Because there's a,
And there's there's some requirements, that 30 days after you have your BZA meeting or your hearing,
okay,
then you can go before the plan commission.
have you got that kind of outlined so we can take a look at that or something, or can I get that from somebody?
It's in our planning.
Okay, that I need. Could
Well-
you get that to me? And I'll get out of here and let you guys get on with stuff. So, that's all right. You know, that's what I need.
I'm not, it's not that, I don't think that what you're talking about doing is the way that it needs to be gone about.
Okay, I can live with that. It doesn't, it's,
It doesn't, that type of thing I guess you could write it into your zoning ordinances for that type of an overlay district, that you would have to have hearings and stuff, but the law doesn't require that.
okay,
The state law doesn't require that.
okay. All right, well, you guys are the expert on that. I said
Well, I'm not an expert, but I know a lot about it.
Okay.
I've been doing it a long time.
I have a question then, like he said that, there's a time crunch here, and you're saying that rezoning has to go through hearings and all that. Like, you're talking 6 months.
Well, you can get it properly rezoned in
That's what I was asking.
I mean, I'm
30
just
to
wondering.
60 days.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering, because he keeps saying there's a crunch of the timeline, but we're like, November, 6 months out.
Yeah.
And if you have to rezone, what's that process take? I don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't, but I don't know how you're gonna do it any other way. I really don't.
All
I-
right.
I'm just asking.
I just didn't want David to be stuck with some zoning out there on a property that the only thing he can do
Well,
is.
that could be problem, but he can always apply to have it rezoned,
Yeah.
to have the zoning reversed.
Well, where we were going with this originally was just a hunting getaway kind of thing, and even if it was zoned for that, it could still, or zoned for casino or whatever, it could still hunt and do all that stuff on it anyway,
Yeah,
right?
you can do whatever you want.
Okay, all right, because it's being.
The zoning
added now.
doesn't, the
It's
zoning
being farmed
doesn't
now.
mean anything.
Well, I don't know what permitted
Until
uses
you
are.
try to do something with it.
Yeah, the permitted uses is where
Right.
you're looking at it, said, how do you fit all of these uses under the zoning, because it's a lot of stuff, and that's where I thought, okay, some kind of special zoning as an overlay, or whatever the heck it needs to be called, that permits all of those kind of uses, or we're not gonna win the day,
Well, I
That's all.
don't disagree.
And maybe we don't, but I said, that's gonna be up to voters, not us, so, all right, it was gonna take me a little bit to tear down and get out of here, but,
Thank you, Mark.
all right, yeah, I appreciate it, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so the last item then is the last couple pages you have there. It's for the church. Totally lost the name of the church, so sorry. Lakeside? Lake Area, thank you. They own the field there at the corner of West Street and Swagger Drive. And so they're wanting to now maybe possibly, sure can, yeah, hand them out.
Got some bigger version.
Proceed with building something, so.
So what I'm handing out here is a preliminary master plan before we got too deep into the engineering.
Okay.
Part of it, I wanted to give you guys a sneak preview of what we were thinking and give you a chance to comment on it and give us some feedback. I'll run you through kind of what the thinking is, the master plan is, and then we'll go from there. So this is a phased master plan over many, many years. Some of it is going, well, all of it's going to be dependent on funding and financing as all things go. The yellow building would be the phase 1 building. After walking each day, and we got our survey back just the other day, we're probably going to shift it down. So one discussion I'd like to have is the parking requirements and the opportunities to do gravel parking as overflow. Where you prefer the curb cuts to be, like we thought maybe across from Water Street might be a good spot. The idea for the master plan is that, so middle school is playing north here, and the solar field is right at the property line here. The property kind of slopes up, so we want to pull the building up on the hillside, leave the low area for green space, some practice ball fields, some water, stormwater retention, and then put the facilities themselves up on top of the hill. First building would be a worship building. Should the funds allow, the orange would be kind of a lobby and kids area. The blue would be phase 3, more fuller classroom and robust kids area. You'll see that on page 3. That has the potential, it'll be designed and such when we get to that phase to be daycare and day school accessible, roadworthy, if you will. And then we've also got the idea to have the frontage out on the corner between Swagger and West as an opportunity for a partner ministry to come in and maybe open a coffee shop or some other community needs. I noted on your town statement, it's a place to come home to. And that truly is the intent of what Lake Area is trying to do with this piece of property, is merge it in with the school facility, the downtown park feel that you already have, and then bring them to a permanent structure on that property. Most of this wood line, actually all the wood line, we don't have any plans for as a current. There's a prayer walk back there right now with no other plans for that. So with that, I'll stop talking and I'll give you a chance to digest. I've also got the elders and the pastors here too, in case you would like to hear from them.
Do you have a timeline for phase 1?
So we're going to go directly into engineering right now, and then we're going to go through a fundraising campaign and start looking at some financing. So I'm hopeful. What do you say? I'll let the lead pastor talk.
Well, we're hoping certainly to occupy it within 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay. I know it's not a quick thing, so.
No, it's not a quick thing. Yes.
And then beyond that, you can barely see the outline of a gymnasium on one of those things. That's where we're headed. Several years ago, when we bought the property, I went around and asked our school personnel, business people, Eric and Joe, and others in town, if you could build any building for Fremont, what would you build? And everyone, either their first or second answer was a gymnasium. And I pushed back, I thought, we've got gyms already. They said, yeah, but we don't have enough. So the idea is the church can use almost any kind of a building. It's kind of a pain to use a gymnasium, set it up and tear it down, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah. And this plan is a flexible master plan. It's intended to be, at this stage, conceptual.
My interest was piqued with daycare.
Oh, I think it's been right.
Daycare is a ongoing
That's
issue.
perfect.
I hear.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's.
It's
It's on agriculture right now, is that a question?
Yeah.
That's a formidable use in ag.
I don't see any, nothing jumps out at me of any variances that we would be requesting, definitely not setbacks, definitely not height. It should be fully compatible with what you guys have planned.
It has to be asphalt. It can't be gravel.
Is there?
It has to be hard.
It has to be hard surface. You said something about gravel parking?
For
Ordinance
overflow.
says it has to be.
For overflow, yeah, that was a question they were asking,
Okay.
if you would allow for an overflow
Okay.
parking lot
You
to be
allow it.
gravel. Yep,
Because
yep,
it
not
has to be
debating,
hard.
yep.
Your code
Thank you.
ordinances usually call for less parking than churches will actually need, right? In a typical
I think
setup.
ours is pretty close.
The joke I always make is my family of 5 drives 4 cars to church, so.
I haven't got my other phone, I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
What?
I haven't got my phone that's got the ordinance on it, so
To look up what?
it's fine.
Oh, because I can pull it up if you want me.
Technology and security.
So the concern on the gravel you say would be,
No, I was.
Yeah, there's a lot of
confirming
concern for
Yeah.
gravel, because it drags gravel out on the road.
Because, yeah, because of the.
And it makes stones, and stones get into windshields and they deteriorate the road.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
So
even if we met the minimum.
if it's
of
overflow
5,
parking and it's gravel, it has to be way back in the corner.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has to be approved.
Sure. Okay. I'll have to come back to you variance for it.
That was my point. I'm just confirming what the current ordinance was for you for that parking limit or gravel that it used to. Yeah.
And then there was a question about the out parcel.
So right now, we're not gonna do anything about like,
Okay.
parceling it off, but we're gonna leave it as a green space right now, just in case the church ever decides.
Well, just so you know, if that out parcel, if you're gonna build something on that, like a coffee shop, is what Becky had told me,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to section that off and you're gonna have to rezone it to business.
I anticipate that.
So,
Any preference on where curb cuts would go along Swagger West?
I sure wouldn't cut it on West Street. I would come in off of Swagger Drive. Because you're gonna drive right into about a 6-foot hill.
Well, yeah, the retaining wall, very well aware of where it is right now, yeah.
That's what I do, I'm in construction.
Yeah.
I was gonna lay that out.
So you wouldn't put any cuts on that side at all?
No, I would not. That's the main, no, I wouldn't. You're gonna have enough semi-traffic running up and down Swagger Drive, let alone West Street.
Yeah.
It's not as bad. Sunday, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. But, yeah,
It's just,
I think you wanna keep those kids away from as much of that traffic as you can.
yeah.
Did they answer all of your, I was just reading back through her email. Cause there was something about the barriers there, where does she say it? Where it's scribbly in red, if you had to put any type of
Oh,
shrubs
landscape
or whatever.
buffers?
Yeah,
Landscape buffer requirements.
Oh.
Oh.
Where you're at, I wouldn't think that you would.
Okay.
that's what we were
anything.
thinking,
Yeah.
but just wanna make sure
I
that you
mean-
verify.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
He's across, yeah, I can't imagine that it would be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere you butt up to is industry.
Yeah.
All the other side, so that's what we were thinking, but I wanted to make sure we answered all the questions, so. That's all that she had brought to my attention, so if that's all that you had questions on, then I guess it's basically what are their next steps? I mean, if they're allowed to continue to proceed, to go ahead and draw this out, I mean, this is kind of what they're looking at. So they can start getting funding.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have a plot plan of it.
Yeah.
Plot plan.
Yep.
Other than that.
But we're gonna do a full engineering on this, full civil engineering on it, so we'll eventually have that for you.
I suggest that you go to the county because all that asphalt, you're gonna create a lot of water and they've already got a problem there.
This is in our plans. That's.
I'll tell you what I would do with it if it was me, is I would take it across the road. I would take it across Swagger Drive to the south.
Okay.
Because there's the other drain for the town that's where it is. That's Eaton Creek. And there's a ditch back there, well, probably 500 yards from Swagger Drive.
Okay.
Through the field there?
Yeah. And I don't know how, I know that Larry Gilbert would, he'd probably have a stroke, be like dead. If you come in there and want to put that much more asphalt and run it into his ditch down there by the solar field.
We were looking at that today, yeah.
We were walking that today.
But that was something that I wanted to do a long time ago with the town. Is back here between these factories is trying to make a cut back there. And take some of the water from the town and take it that way, instead of it all going the other way. But I never got it done. It's a little easy without through Swagger. Huh? Slacker, I know. But there are some property lines there, you might wanna go talk to, Kelly.
Okay.
Gilbert. That's Sam's daughter. Sam Samuel's daughter. And she, you know, I don't know how much of that property she sold, and how much she still has.
She just technically just owns her house, her
Really?
daughter, she gave her daughter all the rest.
Oh, okay.
So it's still in the family.
Well, I mean, you might be able to make some headway.
I just had another question on that property, so that's how, the only reason I know that I wasn't stalking it, I already, I had to look it up recently, so.
Well, I don't imagine Kelly wants to deal with it, she's just not that type. So. All right. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
On another note, related down the road, when we get this built and occupied, the building that we're in now, 927, has been all different kinds of things through the ages, but I think it's zoned agricultural.
Oh, yeah, I believe it's probably still is.
We may want to consider what to do with that, zoning wise,
That was,
what the options might be.
yeah, that was Leroy Huss's.
Anyway, that's a ways down the road. And if you got any questions, we're not too far away. Or suggestions, more ideas for.
What's that? No. I consult every day of the week when I go to work, right?
Or if you want a place to work, you don't have to wait till we get it built.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.